So welcome everyone. My name is Sharon Whiteman and I've been partnering with Diana Hunter and Gary Knapp for the last, 17 years or so, representing the Mannatech community and linking arms really with the Mannatech community here on the Saturday morning training calls. We love being here. It's inspiring to us and it's really, really helpful. So now today we've got a new type of call that we haven't tried before. And we're just going to have little snippets. One of the things when we're sharing the gift of Mannatech, we've all been so blessed. But sometimes, like I think we'd all agree that Mannatech is the best kept secret in regards to immune function, in regards to quality of life and wellness and well-being, in regards to our mission of serving malnourished children around the world, malnourished and at-risk children through our social entrepreneur portal, and also extra income or a career that you can love. Like, we cannot keep Mannatech a secret because we should be in every household. And so, but sometimes when I've been sharing it, I'm a former ICU nurse. I jumped into the science way too much at the beginning, but that's what caught my eye. And I was unwell at the time and unable to work that unwell. I was unable to walk very far. I was only awake for maybe 2 4-hour blocks a day and I slept the rest of the time. So you can imagine what that was like. And so when someone introduced me to this at a dinner party, I was so suspicious and so skeptical. And, but you know what they said to me? And they said, have a listen to this audio. It was a cassette tape at the time, some 20 some years ago. And I thought, how can I say no to just some information? So I thought, to keep up with my own personal values and ethics, I said, sure, I'll listen to it. And I can remember sitting in the car. It was in Pomona, in Queensland, Australia. I can remember exactly where I was. I can remember that moment and hearing about the decline of the quality of our food. Hello, Rhonda. I hear about the declining of the quality of my food, our food that we're eating, and that there's not enough in our food now to maintain well-being, and quite a bit of information. And even that basic terrain conversation for me in that audio sold me immediately. I thought, well, this may not be the total solution to my health situation at the time, but it's got to be the foundation. If this is missing, then how can anything else that I choose to do help at the optimal level? And that was my beginning some 20 years ago. I said I would never do the business because I didn't have education about this business model. And then when I learned more about that, I realized that I'd also had almost 10 years of working with the Robert Kiyosaki team, Susie and PJ in Sydney, and Sue Price, who's on this call today. We worked with them for a long, long time. And I had the education about financial freedom and, good, healthy financial choices, if you believe it, and how to, spend less than you make and do something good with the extra. And so when I put 2 and 2 together, I got rid of, I climbed out of my bias and skepticism. I realized that God had put something in my lap that was a match made in heaven. It's a residual income model that you can, in those days, it was $1,400 to start. Today, you can start for $50. It's like, and, we're gonna have a call coming up. This is a business in a box. You can start for $50 and we can get you set up within an hour. And there's ongoing training and coaching and community and collaboration like what you see today. So 20 some years later, Mannatech is a core foundation of my life. I had a few curveballs. We had a bit of laugh before we opened this call to recording about a Michael Leunig cartoon about the ups and downs in life and how you feel like celebrating and dancing on the mountains. And then when you're in the troughs in the valleys, you're all depressed and sad. So like all of us, I've had some curveballs in my life. So Mannatech is a warring loyalty. I have 2 loyalties right now that compete for my time and my focus, but my heart is sold to Mannatech, and it really will be because of the ethics. And I think you'll probably hear some of that in the community today. So we have several volunteers that have said that they'd be willing to, and I'm just going to randomly ask you. So Bev, can I get you to unmute, and hopefully a camera if you can? If not, that's okay.
There we go.
There. Good. Welcome, Bev. This is Bev Walker. So Bev, Yeah, thank you for putting your hand up. So can you please tell us a little bit about your Mannatech journey? I'll remind you of the questions as we go, but starting with how you're introduced to Mannatech, and then we'll go to the next one.
Okay, thanks, Sharon. Years ago, well, over 20 years ago, my son was very immune compromised, had many challenges, and various people, well, three actually, very well-meaning people suggested I look at this science, and I said, no, he's in need of professional attention, and I didn't want to look. And until one person said very kindly to me and gently, I'm not asking you to do anything, just look at the science. And when my husband and I did look at the science, we'd been farmers and understood about the food and the lack of nutrition in the food. We sort of said, well, this makes so much sense. So on the efforts of the fourth very supportive people, couple, we actually registered and went on from there. I've got such a passion for the products because of that science behind it, and because of basically how we've experienced that, to work with alongside any other treatments or whatever people need to provide optimal health. But this certainly, for me, Mannatech products has been the saving grace between, I suppose, for our family, between optimal wellness and basically just living, going along. I've had the products for about 10 years just to support my son. I thought I was just going to do it to support him. I'm all right, but he's the one who needs the extra immune support. But then I became very ill at one stage, and at the end of it, once I was through, a couple of the doctors said, you must have such a strong immune system because you've come through this unscathed. So, and I put that down to the build-up over the years of the products. So, and just that nutrition on a daily basis that we're not getting in our food, no matter how well we think we're eating. So that was my sort of introduction. And that was 20 years ago, this coming December. So, and for which I'm so grateful for my friends who became my enrollers. Yes, enrollers, that's right. And who are still our friends and supporters today. And I suppose that's one of the things about Mannatech, is that support and encouragement you get, or I'd received from them and others all around the community, just to keep opening our eyes and learning as we're going.
There's a lot of invisible benefits. I'm just thinking as you're speaking to me, Bev, that I was on a call with two Mannatech friends, also long-term customers and partners this week. And we were commenting on how the longevity of taking these nutrients and how it keeps us younger. Do you notice, like, I'm coming 65 in 2 months, and everybody guesses me to be about 50, right? They just about faint. And I'm looking at some of my peers, some of my friends from nursing, and we look like we're in a different generation almost. Like, and do you find that with your friends? You know, like you'll have friends your age, Bev, that haven't had the privilege of choosing these products or haven't chosen them. Do you notice that as well?
Yes, I do. And it's amazing. I notice it now for things like, this is giving my age away a bit more, but I have to go every year for a medical for my license, and have to do all the questions and all the, all the medical parts. And at one stage, the nurse said, taking me through all this, well, I don't know why I'm giving you this, because, you know, you're not really, you don't fit into any of these categories. You're basically too good. You remember all the questions, you remember all the answers, like they've got, you know, you wouldn't know yet, Sharon, but you've got to remember 3 words from the beginning of the test to the end. And she finished the test and said, And I said, but you haven't asked me the 3 words again. She said, no, I know you'll know them. So, so they're the sort of things I find I'm experiencing.
That's absolutely awesome. Just awesome. And you can't see that, right? That's the invisible benefits of committing to these nutrients, giving our cells what they need to stay as healthy as possible, no matter what's thrown at us. And so, Bev, what's your main highlights of why you'd recommend somebody to partner with Mannatech?
Well, I believe it's just the support we get, the long term. That's one of the hardest things for people to understand. It's a long-term continual taking the products and that you need the support for, and you get it through people here. So I suppose the highlights of my journey, the highlights of not only just taking the products, but seeing other people, seeing their wellness improve. My sister, especially one of them, who had been having challenges for so many years, made the comment, now I can play with my grandchildren again. Now I can go swimming with my grandchildren. And that changed her lifestyle. So, and another friend said, my child hasn't needed to go to the doctor for a whole 2 weeks, which was in their case really amazing. So they're the sort of things that it's improving other people's lives. And I know in your questions you had the highlights of the journey, and this probably doesn't apply to why other people should join, but for me the highlights was one of them is going to see the laboratories and go to conferences in America where you can actually see the foundation of where the whole thing developed, and just to see how scientific and wonderful the company is, and also the outreach program, being able to touch the lives of children all around the world, to me is a big thing too. So, but it's amazing. I haven't had many people who've actually made the decision to be part of Mannatech because of that, but they see that when they've started as an extra really positive move, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you start for one reason and then expands, doesn't it? Because you get the whole picture or more parts of the picture.
And I related to you when you said you weren't going to do this business. No way was I going to do this business. But when you start and with your own family, and then people say, what are you doing with Luke, who's our son? You know, he's so different. He's so much better that you can't help but say, there's no way I was going to say, I'm not telling you. So it went on from there. So one of the other questions, I think I would recommend, for the reasons I've given you, the support and the purpose. It's given me more purpose and passion, really, so that each morning I wake up thinking, who's going to cross my path today? Who can benefit, and who's looking for what we have to offer?
Absolutely. Bev, thank you so very much. People are praying for what we have, and we have to be the best stewards and that we can. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sharon.
So now I'll call on Chris Pitcher, please. We're going alphabetically. You're just still muted, darling. Look at you.
Actually,
Little ray of sunshine.
Morning, folks. Yes.
Good morning. So tell us how you introduced to Mannatech, Chris.
Right. I worked professionally as a nurse for 5 decades, and something that nurses do is injure their backs lifting, and it had a significant influence on me that I had to stop working for 2.5 years. I was in so much pain. I was taking a lot of drugs that were recommended by doctors, the pain doctors in my state. I was so fatigued, I was only out of bed for 4 hours a day. So it wasn't much of a lifestyle, being in pain, in bed, and not being able to function. Here I'd cared for other people for decades, and I could, was struggling myself. Then my beautiful girlfriend, Carol Berryman, took me to a meeting and introduced me to this amazing technology, and my life has been transformed. So I have been taking glycans for since 1999, so it will be 23 years this August, and it's changed my life. So I'm formally retired now from nursing, but I need 72 hours in a day to do everything that I need to do. By the time I go to the gym, I did yoga. Friday nights is sleep yoga. You just go there and relax and stretch. But the yoga during the week and the sauna and the beautiful walking to the lake area around here. So my life wouldn't be very different if I'd chosen what the doctors were wanting me to do, is going on some really hard drugs. So I would have been on a disability pension and hard drugs way back in my 40s. So I'm 71 years young now, and I'm living to 100 minimum. So I'm around for a long time.
I can just imagine the impact that you'll be having in the next 30 years. It would be awesome, Chris.
Right. Thank you.
And what about the highlights of your journey? What's been, makes your heart sing?
I love being an encourager to people, to inspire people to take on this journey for themselves. So many times people have health challenges, the doctors have given up on them, and always been passionate about people in facilitating their, sort of their wellness, is supporting people upon their journey when others have given up on them. And just loving and caring for them. Being a nurse, one thing I do wrong a little bit at times, I give them too much education and wanting the science all validated. And that was one of the reasons why I've been very comfortable with people. When I share with them, I say, I respect whether you do or you don't, but we've got 18 clinical trials on our products, and they were amazing. And I remind people about the 90-day money back guarantee for them. And I just love it when people's lives are transformed. And I had the great honour, as a few people on this panel this morning, of receiving the Giving Spirit Award in 2015, because the heart of this company is about giving of your heart and about being of service to people, so that you can help people to be the most vibrant that they can be, so they can live their purpose. And it's by working together, supporting and contributing to one another. The one thing I am addicted to is self-development. I've got another webinar after this one. It's about wellness. I'm always wanting to acquire more information so that what I give to people is what the best, how they facilitate that particular knowledge. And that's when I started doing some life coaching studies, because I want to help in people to embrace their wellness. We can educate them, we can support them, but unless they embrace it, unless they take self-responsibility, and that's what I've got to get better at, is help empowering people to work on their journey and knowing that they'll be loved and supported, sort of for that. And so the mission with helping children, orphanages, is always very special to my heart. I was adopted when I was born, so I've always had a heart for children that are orphan or have got special needs. And I had the opportunity of taking the products overseas and also supporting people through the other past model, which was Endowment Australasia. And I just love the M5M program, that people, by being regular consumers of the product, can all support this amazing mission, because there's so many kids that are just struggling out there, and they need, and we touch people's lives. by showing up, being committed to our health, and indirectly helping them so they can live vibrant and full lives. So as I said, I'm around for 30 more years. And I just love, sort of, and people come and go. And that's sometimes a little thing that, that has been where I get sad is that people give up on themselves and they give up because there's ups and downs in this journey. But if I can just offer some advice, listen to the person who's supporting them on your journey, that they've been through this for a long time. And, one thing I found useful practically, I've tried every Mannatech product, that there is. And is trying it and then going off of it. And it's sometimes going off of it to evaluate and thinking, wow, that really did work so well. And so being flexible, document how your progress is going, because we all live busy lives. And sometimes you forget that this is improved, that's improved. I was in bed 4 hours for 20 hours a day. And I started walking around a block, and then it went to 2 blocks, then it went to 3 blocks. Yeah, so just be kind to yourself. Just lean into the person who's trying to support you, and don't give up on yourself.
And to complete what's in your heart. Oh, excellent. And to complete what's in your heart to why you'd recommend someone partner with Mannatech in this community.
Well, the integrity of the company, we can be proud, is that it's quality products that are backed by science. You've got people that work together and support each other as a team, encouraging them through the good times and the bad times, and just working together, because it's teamwork that produces miracles out there. And you're not working and you're doing this journey on your own. You're doing it with people who care about you, who love you, who want to support you so that you can be the best person that you can be and live a happy and fulfilled life.
Absolutely, Chris, you're an inspiration. So if we all looked around, everybody listening today or in the future at our communities, how many 7-year-olds have a 30-year plan that you know? Isn't that awesome? It's just amazing. Thank you very much, Chris. And we'll go to Kim Batanza now. You there, Kim?
Yes.
Perfect. I can hear you. I can see you.
Sorry.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me on. I'm just blown away by the past 2 ladies and what they had to say.
Yeah.
And very, very similar in many ways. My journey with Mannatech began as I was searching for, I was searching for something to help my son, who was having difficulties and had been asked to leave his friends and school because of his behaviours. I went to someone who had been giving support in a different way to help him train his brain to be operating differently and think through things. And we did the course for a year. And I said, what's next? And he said, that's it. He can go off with that. And meanwhile, he was in a public school, and the teacher was very understanding of the way he was. And she had suggested to try the medication. And so we went off to professionals for that as well. Tried it for a month, and she was the one who actually said to me, no, it's not going to work with him. So I was really looking for something else. And the people that I went to for this other training, they said, when I said, you know, what else can come? They offered me something which I decided to take up. And it was on condition with my son that I did the same, that I took it up as well. And so for myself, I found support in that. I found that some of the things I'd been struggling with were turning around. But what gladdened my heart more than anything was the teacher said within a couple of weeks even, she started noticing changes in his behaviour that she hadn't seen, even though he had improved on what he had done. And she was so impressed. Her daughter had a problem, and she decided that she would look herself into it. I was not aware of the community at first that was involved, but after a while I realized that there was invites to team meetings, monthly meetings and things like that. And so here in Sydney, I was encouraged to go along to team meetings, which I would take family members as well, and sometimes friends, where I thought, yes, this is really powerful. And so I had a lot of committed friends who were willing to have a go and try as well. And they in themselves have and I was in, just to go back again, I joined up at that really top-notch price that it used to be. And they were willing to come alongside and also, and they're still product users today. So the longevity of people seeing the value and noticing the difference. My husband was probably the hardest to convince, and he used to tease me, but he was still supporting me in it. And it wasn't until he had a health challenge that I said, okay, there's no choice, you're going to use these products. And he had a change around and a change of heart very quickly as he saw himself go through a winter with absolutely no colds. And he goes, wow, there's something in this. And so he's continued faithfully using them as well. So it's helped him. He's gone for health challenges because he loves his food. So that's also helped get him back in place. He's had a few worn body parts because of being a trainer in motorbike riding. And so he wore out his neck, he wore out another few places as well. So he's had several operations, and the doctors have, and even the nurses that kind of you see beforehand to do the testing before you actually see for your follow-up after, have commented on, wow, you must heal really well. And he'll say, oh, that's because what I'm on. And for me, that's huge, considering how long I had to fight for him to go on the products. So with regard to highlights across the 20 odd years that I've been with the company, probably my biggest highlight was to go in 2016 to go overseas, which, other than going to New Zealand, that was the biggest thing that I'd never been outside of Australia, other than a short hop over to New Zealand. And so to go to America, that was just fantastic. And but what made it more special that year was because I was very excited that the company was going to take on an international scientific advisory board. So they weren't just satisfied with having products that had been patented and tested outside of their own company, to know that they were really what what we were getting was what, you know, was really there. That they were inviting people from experts from all around the world. And so that was something that was in my heart to go. And so to go to that was just huge, to see the laboratory and to just be a part of this universal community of people, because I'd love come to realise just how supportive the community was. Being in Sydney, I have had lots of training, monthly training, where there's been lots of encouragement. And also there's been that sense of personal growth, confidence in something that I've kind of been waning in just because of family situations with different things, and life happens. But at the same time, the patience and the wonderful way in which people come around you and gently encourage you to step up. And so that's been really beautiful. With regards to learning, I've just learnt so many new skills, new people skills, new skills with technology, which I still find very challenging. So that's something that for the reason that I left my last, because I felt like I was drowning once the technology got too tricky. So just the loving way, and to appreciate that you're never on your own. It's kind of like having your hand held until you're ready, and just being encouraged gently to step up and step out a little bit more. So that sort of training has, and also the encouragement of reading, hearing other people speak, going to conferences. There's just so much education out there, but for me, I like it in a personal way, and this is the way it comes. So even though you can be distant, technology today has just allowed for so many more opportunities to learn things in ways that suit you as a person. So I guess I could never stop using my products. And actually my GP had suggested I try going off them, and I said, no way, that's never going to happen. And I'm finding a new GP at the moment to find someone who is more, you know, who accepts what is dear to my heart, and what I know in myself is the best thing for my body. So yes, all my support has come from within the team. Locally, I've had people show me the system. Initially, when I joined in another team, the fellow that joined me up, I think must have kind of got waylaid and just never really got into he was more a business man perhaps, but I was kind of left on my own for a while, so I didn't understand how it worked. But even though I didn't understand, I kept telling my friends about it. So I had a team of people with me. I just didn't have it in the structure, because until somebody came along and said, hey, can we help you to get this working for you? And so that's been really wonderful to actually understand that everything's there for us to help us on our journey. And yeah, it's just been really a wonderful journey, and I just wouldn't be without the people that I have as friends and colleagues today, who have my back, you know, when I'm not quite sure, and we have one another's back to support in this way. The company itself supports us as well in a huge way. Such generosity and such, they're always working to make things better so that we can be more successful in showing what is available through this. So thank you for the time to speak this morning. But yes,
And that's awesome.
this company.
Just
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you. So we'll call on Marika next. And while we're waiting for Marika to turn her camera on, apologies, I haven't seen the sun for so long, I forgot to put the blind on, so I look like a Dracula here or something. Hi, Marika, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
We're good. So tell us about how you came to Mannatech, Marika.
Mannatech was introduced to me because I was very sick. I had some health challenges, not just me, my son also. And I was introduced to Mannatech, and they said, just try the products. And I was like, okay, I've tried so many, so let's just try another one. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And 3 years later, and I'm still using the products. So, and my health is so much better, and my son's health is also much better. It's been 3 years since he's seen a hospital room, so that's really, really awesome. And I'm grateful for that, because at that stage in my life, I was unhealthy. I was in a dark place, and Mannatech came in the right time, on the right time for me, and helped me through that dark challenges that I've been through. And I've learned the personal development. I've learned how to affirmations, how to be positive, things that I've just thought, if you tell me to be positive, okay, I will try. But the personal development was for me a thing very close to my heart, because I didn't have the privilege to go after school and learn. So when I signed up, it was for me also the personal development for becoming better, because I want to be the example for my family. I want them to see, wow, you have your own business, the security. For me, it's the security to know that this is my business, and no one can take it away from me. What I'm putting in is what I'm going to get out. And hearing all of these older ladies' stories makes me so happy, and it's really inspirational for me to know that I've got a few years that I can do all of this, and I'm very excited for the next 70 years to also be there where they are, and the community. For me, coming from South Africa, the community, it's a really, I was alone, and Australian, all of you just took me under your wing, and you helped me when I didn't know how yes, it's an international, I think it's international, sorry, my Afrikaans, international business, but the systems is not always the same. And you came and you showed me another way. And I think, like Kim said, is to have each other's back, because sometimes we don't feel like doing something, and then you have that friend that says, whoa, you can do it. And the encouragement, the support, the love, I see the community, the friends that we have, who's going through all of the highs and the lows, who is telling you to not quit, just go on. So yeah, it's the security, the community, and of course the products.
And Marika, why would you recommend somebody to partner with Mannatech?
For me, it's the products, to know what's in the products and to be confident what's in the products, because I was on a lot of, I was really sick, and I was on medication, and my body was so good to me. He gave me all the side effects of each product. And I was really sick of the product, of the medication that I had to get healthy. And now I have this amazing products. I can drink it or eat it. And I know that it's good for my body. It's just food. And the science, to know that I have the confidence to tell you there is science behind, backed up with science. We know what's in our products, and it's really been tested, and you can feel confident using it, because if it doesn't work, you can get your money back.
That's an awesome point, isn't it? The money back guarantee. It's amazing. It's unheard of in our area. Anything you'd like to leave people with, Marika?
Don't quit. It's going to be really hard sometimes. It's going to get you out of your comfort zone, believe me, but don't quit. Just keep on going, because each month on the 15th, you will get paid. You can be assured that this is really something that will not go. This is your security. You can give it as a legacy for your son or for your family. Don't quit. Just keep going. Even if you're slow on that mountain, take a breath. I think it's a breath. Take a breath and just grab someone else's hand who's next to you and just go with them together to get to that top. Because when you are going to get on that top, you are going to shout down to all the people at I don't know what, up under the hill or whatever you call it. And you're going to shout and encourage them to also don't quit and come up. The view is awesome. So yes, let's just take a break, and don't quit.
Awesome, Marika. Awesome. And by the way, I only speak one language, so you're doing awesome with your second language. Really well done. Thanks for being here. And I'll call on Pauline next.
Good morning, everybody.
Welcome, Pauline. Lovely to see you.
Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge you, Sharon, for all the good work that you do for our community. You and your team are fantastic. And I'd like to acknowledge also my upline, Judy Abbott, who dobbed me in for today. So thanks.
She did. She absolutely did. So Pauline, tell us your journey. How did you come to Mannatech?
Well, I probably came to Mannatech a little bit differently to everybody else. And I'm sitting here thinking, I don't think I've got much to say because it's all been said. I had been a nurse. I was a nurse and I had been working in elderly care. But prior to that, I was introduced to another direct sell company way back in 1971, which was a nutritional company. And in those days, it was vitamins and minerals. And if you talked about vitamins and minerals, you're a bit of a hippie. However, I pursued with that business for many years. And in about 1998, I think, I was working in elderly care. I had been working in this other business, and all of a sudden I thought, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'd reached a crossroads in my life and I thought I need something different. In elderly care, I was pushing the drug trolley around, giving the elderly their medications, thinking to myself, why am I doing this? You know, it was against all my principles. So I gave it all away. I gave the direct sell company away. I gave the nursing away. And in its place was a friend of mine had said, why don't you do this skeletal realignment? She said, you would be really good at doing something like this. And I thought, yes, nursing I went to help people. I'd always wanted to be a nurse since the age of 8. And I thought, I'm just not doing the hands-on. You know, it was all book work, it was medications. I was very unhappy. So I did the course, and then I did a massage course, and I worked that for I still do it on the odd occasion. However, at that time, one of my friends from the previous business came to me and said, there's this new product, you got to come and have a listen. And I said, oh, no. Is it direct selling? Yes. No, don't want to know about it. And I've done that. You know, I want a new life. So anyway, a fax came through. So it was so long ago. It was in the days of faxes. And another fax came through. You've got to be there. You've got to be there. And the scientists and Dr. Boyd were here in Adelaide. So I said to my husband, come on, won't hurt. Let's go and have a listen. So we went and had a listen, and I was blown away by the structure of the company. And there were circles. So you had a circle with 4 bits and then more bits and bits and bits. And, you know, that's how you built your team. That's very, very broad. Anyway, I said, come on, let's give it a go. Okay, he said, but that didn't last. His support didn't last very long. Mind you, he's a very good housekeeper. So he supports me in that way. So I never, ever really started with the company as a business. For a business, it was probably more health related, because I could see it would work with my spinal realigning and massage business as an extra for pain relief, really. So we joined with 2 products. He had one and I had the other. And I said, next month we'll swap over. You know, we'll just see what this is like. Because I'd heard about the communication and I thought, don't know about this. But the more I heard, the more I was, well, they said don't convince people, but I was convinced, the better it was. So there was a convention in Adelaide, and to go to this convention, you had to be an all-star. Now, an all-star was a person who signed up with a pack of products for $1,395. And we went, oh, but we really would like to go to this conference because it's, you know, I'm sure there's going to be some interesting information and we'll have scientists there, which I think I'm quite interested in science. So we went along and we met Rod Gilchrist and others, and Rod said, don't let this slip through your fingers. He said, there's something in this. So many years later, I haven't let it slip through my fingers, but I've never been a trailblazer. I'm just sure and steady, and I've shared with people the ethos of the company, the benefits of the product, and I've been there to support them. So I guess I became an associate in about June 1999, I think it was, and the Olympics were about to happen the following year, and it was a very good springboard, because the athletes were on the products. The track and field athletes were all taking our products. So that was really good kudos for our product, that if an athlete of such high standard, an Olympian, can take our products, well, you know, they're very, very, very good. They wouldn't jeopardise their futures. So I went along and slowly had a couple of hiccups along the way. Well, actually I had many hiccups along the way, but I had a lot of joy and excitement and fun. It's maintained our health. And last week I had a birthday, and Chris Pitch is very proud that she's 71. Well, I just turned 75, so now I'm 3/4 of a century. So, so my plan was always to live to 120, but I'm not so sure now. The world's gone crazy. So if I can do something to make somebody's life happier and healthier, that's where I'm at. So, right, so that's how I got started. So what's the next thing? My highlights.
Yeah.
Well, I went to Dallas in 2016. I'd never been to a manifest before, and I thought we were changing the branding. There were new products. I think Mannatech, the web pages were being released. There was a lot of excitement. So I thought, right, this year's the year, and I needed to go. My sister had been ill, not wanting to take the products. Very hard to encourage her to do so. However, I had a bit of R&R, as well as I met some amazing people, and some of whom I still communicate with on Facebook. So that was great. I had a great roomie in Judy McCarthy, and we still chat every now and again. And these are some of the highlights, I think, of what our company does. You know, you have friends for life. And Sharon, I've followed you from probably day one, when we used to do on the phone calls out of DY, I think. So
I remember that.
We've travelled a bit. And I remember, you know, your voice in the beginning was very shaky, as mine is today. But you've grown, and that's wonderful to see. So, so that was a great highlight. And I actually had an extra day in Los Angeles because my flight was didn't connect to Australia to come home. So the airlines put me up for an extra day. So that was a bit of a highlight in itself. I could just veg out on the beach. But to see the people, to see the scientists up there, and the Global Scientific Advisory Board was born then, and that was exciting. We're just not one of those companies here today, gone tomorrow. We're here for the long haul, and that science, which the discovery back in 85 or something, wasn't it? Really early, is amazing, and it has changed so many lives, and all because what's in aloe that's so healing, and this has given us all more than we could ever expect. Had a few other highlights, I guess, around conferences. We had a beaut one up in Hunter Valley, and we're all at a barbecue out on the tennis court, and Sam Castor was wandering around trying to find a seat, and there was an empty one beside me. Sweet little Chris Pitcher said, "Here, there's a spare seat." So he sat next to me. So I grew about 6 inches that night. It was really lovely. There was that one, the very first one I went to, I think, was in Sydney. And it's just meeting and keeping in touch with the people. Bev and I were sitting opposite each other in a tram in Adelaide, and found out that she came, I think, Bev, it's Port Pirie, Port Augusta, somewhere up there. So, we've sort of got a little attachment. She's a South Aussie. Highlights. I don't know. Too many.
What would you like to, no, that's awesome. What would you like to leave people with your heart? Why would they want to partner with Mannatech?
Well, I guess it's the community. It's the M5M. I haven't even touched on that. That is what's very close to my heart, and I'm very passionate about it. Nourish yourself, nourish your child, to no extra cost to yourself. You're supported. The company has amazing resources that you could just log into your web page, which we didn't have before. Life has become easier, but I still like that belly to belly contact. It's more important, I think, than sending an email. Zoom has been good, but it's still not the same. You can't hug people on Zoom. And we're a long-standing company. We're NASDAQ, well, not supported, that's not the word. Well,
registered,
registered, thank you. As I said, we're not a fly-by-night company. We're here for the long haul, and I think we're heading 28 years or so, and we've become huge globally. Some of the new countries that have opened have been so hard to get into, and I'm sure we all know somebody from those countries, and we can make somebody's life better. Health-wise, David and I enjoy pretty good health. He's got a knee at the moment that's worn out, so he's up for a new one. But so I've loaded up on our wonderful product which the athletes take. So that's all stored up in the cupboard. I don't know, just be part of it. Say yes and learn afterwards how to do it. And you're supported all the way.
That's awesome advice, Pauline.
Thank you. I think that's about all I can add to what everybody else has said. And gee, we've had some amazing talks this morning. Thank you, everybody who's gone before me.
Thank you.
And Rhonda, are you out of your jammies yet?
Rhonda's coming next. We're about to see Rhonda's out of her jammies.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Pauline. People are going to think only women come to this business after today, but that's not true. Just as we're waiting for Rhonda to arrive, there's lots of men that partner, and there's lots of people that only see the business when they first start, but we'll have another call about that another time. Rhonda, are you able to turn your camera? You're not.
Yes, I'm fine. The camera's been turned off, but I'm out of my jammies and I've even brushed my hair.
So Rhonda, how did you get introduced to Mannatech?
I got my very dear friend Sue Skinner introduced me to the business. Sue had been burnt out and had a lung infection, and for over a year in our Brisbane climate, summer and winter, she was wearing jumpers and pashminas and all the time, and it was just so unpleasant for her. And suddenly she was better. So of course I said, what have you done? And she told me, I found these products. And I said, well, you better let me have a look at it. And it looked better than what I was doing. So I started using the products. And as some of the other speakers have said, way back then, we start on a $1,500 pack. So I initially wasn't really looking for a business. I had 4 jobs. I was paying for my mother's accommodation. I started using the products myself. And in a couple of weeks, people were saying to me, what are you doing? I want it. I had no health challenges. I was fine, early 50s, fit, healthy, pretty energetic. But it didn't take me long to realize that not being sick wasn't being well. And yeah, we used to roll out of bed and creak off to the bathroom, and after we'd had a shower, you sort of then can start moving properly, and suddenly we just get out of bed and go to the bathroom. So that was fine. And because of what was happening to me, people were asking me, what is it? I want it. So the business started to build. And it was really interesting because at the time I had, I think, had 3 or 4 part-time jobs. As I said, I was housing my mother, which was costing me quite a bit of money. And I had an appointment with a financial planner, and he said, what's your exit plan? And I thought about it for a few minutes and realised my exit plan was dead. I couldn't see life being any different until I actually dropped dead. And I wouldn't have been surprised if my mother outlived me. But I think that's all changed now. So it was 2003 that I started using the product. So that's 19 years ago. And I noticed, we look at the ladies on the call today, and Diana is one. If you look at her photo now and look at her photo 10 years ago, you'd think you got the dates switched around. So I couldn't do without my products. And from time to time, I might get slack on 1 or 2, and I notice the changes. One of the big ones is omega-3. I can't miss GI Pro. I can't miss any of them. But sometimes swallowing is not so easy these days. And if I go 3 weeks without omega-3, my finger starts swelling up again. Now, the doctor will tell you when you've got arthritis in a joint, you can't get rid of those bumps. They never go away. That's just not true. They do. But they do come back if that nutrition's missing again. So I love the products. I love the company. And I think there's so much, as Kim says, there's so much difference between being not sick and being well. And our whole health industry, the regular allopathic industry, is geared to sickness management. It's not geared to wellness and health at all.
And your highlights, Rhonda?
Highlights. I've had a wonderful
highlights of your journey. You have a wonderful
journey.
time all the time.
What? Say that again.
You have a wonderful time all the time, I reckon.
Yeah, I've had a fantastic journey with Mannatech. First of all, I was able to shed some jobs, some money, and I did some work along the way, but Mannatech rewarded me far greater than my efforts. I've achieved a number of the incentives. I've achieved overseas trips. I've achieved conferences to America, trips to Disneyland, local conferences, convention, and the people in this business. That's just wonderful. They're caring, they're helpful, and they're vital and energetic, and they want to do better and do more. M5M is the icing on the cake, because in addition to helping ourselves, we're helping others. And goodness me, who could have managed to be without Mannatech in these last 2 years? It's just, you know, people have lost their jobs, they've lost their health, they've been all sorts of things, terrible things are happening. And our food's not getting any better. The food's getting worse. The medication's getting worse. We're being pressured into being experimental guinea pigs with different medications at the moment, which I think is really horrific. So what can we do about it? Support your own immune system with our wonderful products. And look at the resources we've got. You, for one, I love your Saturday call, and I'm on it every time I've got an opportunity to be. I've probably missed about 2 sessions in the last 2 years. We have the wonderful resources of Dr. Steve Nugent of Albala, Landon, and Sarah. That there's just such a great resource behind us.
Rhonda, what would you like to leave people with in regards to partnering with Mannatech?
Remember where you started. Whenever I start a new person, I have them write down a journal of where you are now. Take inventory of your health, your sleep, your mood, your relationships, your tolerance to stress. Make a note of it, because the change is gradual and you forget where you started. So take inventory, know where you are, notice the changes. And I think it was Chris said from time to time she stopped, and the result has been really amazing of how the change is when you stop taking the products and when you go back onto them. What I find, though, if you're taking the products and you stop, it takes you a bit longer to get back to where you were than it did notice changes in the beginning. So just be careful what you're doing with your health, because everything you do every day matters. We need to share this best kept secret, because there's nothing else out there that gives people what they've got. And just keep on keeping on.
Rhonda, awesome. Awesome. Thank you to all our speakers today. Thank you for stepping up. I'd also like to say that, you know, quite a few people have alluded to the troubled times right now. It's pretty rocky out there, and Mannatech does have a solution, so many solutions for some of the challenges. And I believe that if the culture that you heard today of what our company is ready for the new earth the new world that's birthing right now. So on the other side of this chaos will be a better world, and Mannatech's the perfect match. So everyone, thank you all. I love being here with you every week, and we'll see you next week with Amanda Keeney. We'll be talking all about hormones, healthy hormones. Thanks, everyone.
Right, cool.
You can come
Bye-bye.
on and give a wave if you want. Bye. Our extroverts, where's our extroverts wanting to wave on camera? All right, see you.